What's up, guys? Friday night steak. Got a ribeye here that I've been marinating for the last hour or so. With some Worcestershire. Take that out. And a stainless steel plate. Keep that Worcestershire just in case I want to use it later. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and season this on up with this Kinder's prime steak, blah blah blah. Something this girl I was dating left here. I bought the steak, this bitch bought the fucking seasoning. Then the next time she came over, she was talking about, oh, I forgot my seasoning here. I was like, fucking kidding me? She ended up forgetting it. I wasn't going to remind her, as you can imagine. I think that particular evening, I made lobster and steak, because that's what her bougie ass wanted. Probably something else, maybe baked potato. I think she made a salad. Either way. Season it generously, because if you cook on the grill, seasoning kind of falls off a little bit. So this steak is nice and tender because I let it sit in that Ziploc bag in this room, a room temperature, for maybe an hour and a half, maybe a couple hours, and it came to room temperature. And every little while I'd flip that Ziploc bag over and press on it and tenderize it, and it right now is a little bit cold, but that's about what you want right there. That's ready to cook. All right, I got some large shrimp here, peeled and deveined. I had to peel them, but you know, for the price, I'm not going to complain. It's pretty good. We go ahead and set our temperature fairly low, and I'm going to add a stick of butter. Let that get on down. Get on down. Add a little bit of Old Bay. If you're worried about the cost of butter, do what I do. Buy it at Costco. Same as this Old Bay seasoning I buy at Costco. And my garlic salt and my pepper and many other things. You know, I save so much money shopping there. And you know, this video is not sponsored by Costco. However, if you want to save money, shop at Costco. Now that old baked tater right there is probably pretty close to done. It was in there for an hour before I even lit the grill. But that's because with them big old potatoes like that, you look on Google, it'll tell you an hour and it's done. But you know, I don't think it hurts a whole lot to cook it a little bit extra longer, and I've had some of them end up being tough. So I've got this oven all the way up at 425 degrees. I added some olive oil, some salt, some pepper, and I cut the ends of the potato off like that because it'll help release the steam and make the insides of them cook. Now, after the first hour, when I pulled it out of there, I had to take a steak knife and poke the ends of them because they sealed up to continue to let that steam out. Alright, so let me show you guys what I got going for my coal setup here. So I had a little bit of match light left over from before, so I started my fire with that and I let it burn white hot, get nice and white hot, and I added some of my hickory wood in there. Add some more black coals. I'm gonna let that start to break down, and once that gets good and smoky, I'm gonna throw my grate on, throw the steak on. It's gonna cook real quick. Got some dark clouds circling, which if you're a real barbecue man, you know what that means. You do. You're a real barbecue man know how to answer that question right there. What you do, if you're in the middle of a barbecuing and it starts raining, pouring down, you go in there in your hamper and you grab your dirty clothes you wore to work and you put them on. You bring your ass back out here and get soaking wet and finish cooking this shit. That's what a real barbecue man does. All right, that's about the consistency I'm looking for with the coals. They're starting to get good and hot. Some people call these coals, when they get like this, they call it dirty smoke. Well, you can call me white trash, you can call me whatever the fuck you want, but to me, that coal flavor adds something to it. Remember, I used to, when I'd have people over to eat, I'd always, when the coals got white hot, I'd add some black coals to them and let those get steaming before I'd throw the burgers on. And when my guests ate the burgers, they would say, "This is the best burger I ever ate. How did you do that?" There's some black coals on there. But if you look on the internet, they'll tell you that's dirty smoke. That's what they'll tell you. It's ain't going to be a long cook here. It's going to be about maybe 4 minutes on each side, not long. All right, so while that steak is grilling, I'm going to go ahead. This won't take but a moment. I'm going to take some of these garlic cloves I have here. These are already, you know, brined, and they're real tender, so they're easy to cut up. I'm going to cut these up real small. Now that I got that diced up as good as I can there, I'm sure some kind of chefs could get it a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and cut this little piece of butter into sticks. I got some softened butter in my little butter thing over there, but I don't want to use that for this, you know. This harder butter is all right because that steak's hot and it's gonna melt. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and place this butter and this garlic here on this plate like so, and when we pull our steak off, we're gonna just set it here on top of this and let it absorb that as it cools. All right, guys, the barbecue gods are with us. It did not rain whilst our steak was cooking. I'm gonna take this inside and let it rest on that butter and garlic. All right, guys, so here's what we got. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up. So we got our ribeye steak there resting in the butter and garlic. We have what I call candy shrimp, which is the stick of butter you seen earlier. What you didn't see was I add some brown sugar to give it that caramelization that you see there. We got our potato over here. So that's a big old potato, and the skin's a little tough. Big old potato, so I ain't gonna use all of it. Take about half of it, it'd be good. You know I love cooking, hate doing dishes. So let me go ahead and get this over here. Go ahead and get, oh boy, that's tender. You know, a lot of cooking channels talk about, we wish we had smell-o-vision. Wish we had feel-o-vision. I wish you could feel how tender that was. That is phenomenal. That is so tender. Wow, look at that. It's kind of falling apart. Kind of falling apart there. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this up. You know, the older I get, the more my appetite kind of shrinks a little bit. Appetite shrinks, waist expands. So back in my younger days, I'd eat this whole steak and that whole potato. Not anymore. Can't stomach it. Oh man, I wish you could feel it. It's so tender. That's so tender. All right, guys, there it is. Got my meal for tonight. Got leftovers for tomorrow. Beautiful sight. You guys let me know what you think, and have a good day or a good night.